John Quincy Adams' advocacy for education and infrastructure laid the groundwork for a more developed and intellectually vibrant America. James Buchanan's presidency was overshadowed by the deepening divisions over slavery, ultimately failing to prevent the outbreak of the Civil War. William Howard Taft's trust-busting efforts and support for progressive reforms left a lasting impact on the regulation of monopolies and big business. Calvin Coolidge's conservative economic policies promoted limited government intervention and fostered an era of unprecedented prosperity known as the Roaring Twenties. Herbert Hoover's handling of the Great Depression struggled to provide relief, leading to widespread suffering and discontent among the American people. John F. Kennedy's handling of the Cuban Missile Crisis showcased his leadership under pressure, averting a potential nuclear catastrophe and earning global respect. Gerald Ford's pardon of Richard Nixon aimed to heal the nation, but also sparked controversy, testing the limits of presidential pardoning power. James Garfield's brief presidency was marked by his efforts to reform civil service and fight corruption, tragically cut short by his assassination. Martin Van Buren's presidency grappled with economic turmoil during the Panic of 1837, shaping his legacy as a steward of financial stability. Rutherford B. Hayes' commitment to civil service reform and civil rights paved the way for greater equality and accountability in government. Chester A. Arthur's unexpected presidency saw his transformation from a political insider to a reform-minded leader, championing civil service reform. Zachary Taylor's brief presidency was dominated by debates over the expansion of slavery into new territories, foreshadowing the tensions that led to the Civil War. Millard Fillmore's presidency navigated the tumultuous waters of the Compromise of 1850, attempting to reconcile the growing divide between North and South. Benjamin Harrison's presidency saw the passage of the Sherman Antitrust Act, signaling a commitment to curbing the power of monopolies and promoting fair competition. William Henry Harrison's presidency, though brief, underscored the importance of presidential succession and continuity of government in times of crisis. Warren G. Harding's administration was marred by scandals such as the Teapot Dome scandal, tarnishing his legacy despite his calls for normalcy after World War I. Franklin Pierce's presidency struggled to navigate the escalating tensions between North and South, ultimately failing to prevent the onset of the Civil War. James A. Garfield's presidency was marked by his commitment to civil service reform and his tragic assassination, underscoring the dangers of political violence. Andrew Jackson's populist appeal and expansionist policies reshaped American politics and society, but his treatment of Native Americans remains a dark stain on his legacy. Grover Cleveland's non-consecutive terms as president were defined by his commitment to fiscal conservatism and opposition to political corruption. William McKinley's presidency oversaw America's emergence as a global power, marked by the Spanish-American War and the acquisition of new territories. James Madison's presidency was defined by his leadership during the War of 1812, defending American sovereignty against British aggression and securing its place on the world stage. Thomas Jefferson's presidency expanded the boundaries of the United States through the Louisiana Purchase, ushering in an era of westward expansion and territorial growth. John Adams' presidency faced challenges such as the XYZ Affair and the Alien and Sedition Acts, testing the limits of executive power and the principles of free speech. George W. Bush's presidency was defined by the September 11th terrorist attacks and the subsequent War on Terror, reshaping American foreign policy and national security priorities. The presidency of George Washington established enduring precedents for the executive branch, laying the groundwork for the democratic principles that define American governance today. Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation stands as a beacon of liberty, heralding the end of slavery and inspiring generations in the pursuit of civil rights and equality. Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal programs provided a lifeline to millions during the Great Depression, reshaping the role of the federal government in social welfare and economic recovery. Teddy Roosevelt's conservation efforts solidified America's commitment to preserving its natural wonders, leaving a legacy of environmental stewardship that endures to this day. Harry Truman's decision to deploy atomic weapons in World War II brought a swift end to the conflict, but also sparked profound ethical debates about the use of nuclear force. Dwight D. Eisenhower's presidency oversaw an era of unprecedented economic growth and stability, while his advocacy for civil rights laid the groundwork for future progress. Lyndon B. Johnson's Great Society programs aimed to eradicate poverty and promote social justice, leaving an indelible mark on America's commitment to equality. Richard Nixon's presidency was marked by achievements such as diplomatic overtures to China, yet overshadowed by the Watergate scandal, forever altering public trust in government. Ronald Reagan's conservative agenda reshaped the political landscape, championing deregulation and free market principles while confronting the specter of communism abroad. Jimmy Carter's dedication to human rights and diplomacy reshaped America's foreign policy, fostering a renewed commitment to global cooperation and peace. Bill Clinton's presidency oversaw an era of economic prosperity and technological advancement, though marred by personal scandals that cast a shadow over his administration. George H.W. Bush's steady leadership during tumultuous times, including the end of the Cold War and the Gulf War, solidified his legacy as a statesman and diplomat. Barack Obama's historic presidency symbolized progress and inclusivity, as his administration enacted landmark healthcare reform and confronted pressing social issues. Donald Trump's presidency ignited fierce debates and divisions, as his unconventional approach to governance challenged traditional norms and institutions. Gerald Ford's pardon of Richard Nixon sought to heal a divided nation, though it sparked controversy and debate over the limits of presidential power. Andrew Jackson's presidency was marked by controversy and contradiction, including the forced relocation of Native American tribes along the Trail of Tears. Woodrow Wilson's vision for a League of Nations aimed to prevent future conflicts, yet faced opposition at home, shaping America's approach to international diplomacy. James K. Polk's expansionist policies transformed America's territorial boundaries, defining its identity as a continental power in the 19th century. John Adams' presidency navigated turbulent waters, from diplomatic crises to challenges to civil liberties, leaving a complex legacy of leadership and statesmanship. Andrew Johnson's tumultuous presidency oversaw the aftermath of the Civil War, grappling with the complexities of Reconstruction and the legacy of slavery. James Monroe's Monroe Doctrine asserted America's influence in the Western Hemisphere, shaping its foreign policy and relations for generations to come.